Good evening. This is the public participation portion of the meeting. According to the board procedures, this will be for a period of 90 minutes. Individuals will be asked, who have signed up, will be asked to come to the mic when their name is called and, for the record, state their name and address. Limit their comments to 3 minutes. Speakers must be present when their names are called. I remind you that the board chair is responsible for maintaining a respectful environment during public participation, truly so that public comments can be heard and considered by the board. I remind the board that the public participation is for the public to offer its comments and concerns, and it is not a forum for a dialogue with the board or for board members to espouse their positions on various issues.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Just before we go to public participation, I just was disturbed by the fact after we finished voting for the charter schools that all the charter school people got up and left. Like, hold on. Look, I just want to finish my point. Not all of them, except for People's Prep. I want to say they stood, but most of the charter school people, after they got their votes, up and left, and that just show that you got your votes, you gone. So I just want the record to reflect that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis. What I just want to remind board members is that we have a lengthy number of speakers on the list. I also just wanted to remind everyone, this is for public participation. I want everyone that is on the list to get their minutes. So any old or new business, please let's just jot it down and we can discuss it after public participation so that we can maximize their time, because this is their time to speak. Thank you. First speaker.
Jordan Roper.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jordan Roper, and I am 9 years old. I am a third grade student scholar at Alexander Street School. I am here today to talk to you about some concerns about my school. One of the things that are going on in my school building is bullying. Some of my classmates have to pay money to the bigger kids to come to school. If they don't, the kids get jumped after school. One of my classmates brought a knife to school to protect himself from bullies. Another problem I have is drugs. One of the students showed me a lighter, a cigar, and something in a Ziploc bag that he said was marijuana. My teacher said it was marijuana also. I don't know for sure if it was marijuana. All I know was what I saw. I would also like to say some of the staff at Alexander Street School harassed me. These were the former PTA board members who didn't want to give up their possessions. They told me they were going to get my father. They told me to tell my father to remember I have to go to school every day. They also said they can make me do what they want me to do, and my father couldn't stop them. This was during my class instructional time, and my teachers allowed them to do it. This was not right. Some of the teachers are very disrespectful. They talk about our parents, our homes, and our principal, and think they're supposed to be nice. They even tell us to go home and tell our parents that the principal should be fired, and he should have never got the job, and he don't know what he is doing. Fights are breaking out in our classroom while the teachers are not in the classroom. And when the teachers get back to the classroom, they don't break up the fight. The students break up the fight. They tell us to go home and tell our parents to complain about the principal at our school. Our school's slogan is teamwork makes the dream work. What I think Alexander Street School staff mean is the lack of teamwork is making the dream hurt. And the dream is becoming a nightmare for the students. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jordan. Jordan, sweetie. Jordan, I just spoke with the superintendent, and she will make sure that a visit to Alexander Street School happens, and that we'll have a conversation about what's going on there, okay? Thank you very much.
Janiyah Jones.
Maybe on the way.
Diamond Jones. Oh, is Janiyah here?
Okay, get him, boo.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Janiyah Jones. I am a student at Ivy Hill Elementary School. I am in the 4th grade. Today I am here to talk about student safety. Students are bringing cap guns into school and shooting me in the leg with one. The cap gun made a mark on my leg and it hurt. And another concern I have is my music teacher classroom. It's out of control. There are fights going on, students are throwing chairs and they are smacking each other upside the head. And I believe the teacher is scared. There's no learning going on. One day I was helping my music teacher clean up her room, and my 3rd period teacher came in and told me she was going to suspend me for being nice. I don't understand why adults act like children sometimes. The school year is too long, and getting out June 28th is not fair. The buildings are too hot. We need to start school 10 days earlier. So we can get out earlier. And never mind the snow days. The hot temperatures are causing fights because students are frustrated about the heat. We had 10 fights today. The teachers have nothing to give us. The students have nothing to do. There should be other reasons for me to come to school instead of just my attendance record. This make no sense. Thank you.
Janiyah Jones, just want to let you know a visit will also be going on at Ivy Hill. Thank you very much for speaking out.
Okay. Diamond Jones.
Diamond Jones, 107 Ivy Street. Good evening, Superintendent and Vice Board members. My name is Diamond Jones, and I am the Student Council President at Ivy Hill Elementary School. Today, I am here to talk to you about 5 important things. The first topic is test scores. At the beginning of the year, we took 3 tests, a math and science exam and a language arts and literacy replacement test. At the beginning of the year, these scores were low. And now at the end of the year, we had to retake the test, and now they're even lower. How do you expect us to bring up our NJS scores when we couldn't even bring up exam scores? In the middle of the school year, our math teacher switched to our science teacher, and our science teacher switched to our math teacher, which has got us students confused. If you're going to be a successful school, I don't believe teachers should be switching subjects in the middle of the year. Moreover, in science, we are taught with dittos the whole year. We didn't even work out the science kit because the teacher said she didn't trust us with the equipment or chemicals. Furthermore, one of the teachers was a very good teacher and improved the test scores, was fired because she was a new teacher. Teachers should not be fired because they don't have tenure. The district should keep more qualified teachers. That's what creates institution of excellence. In my conclusion, the students in Livingston seem to be more prepared for algebra than the Newark Public School children. No one from my school made it into science. Newark Public School must do a better job in preparing us for magnet schools. I want to have the same opportunity as those students in Livingston. Success don't come without preparation. And if we're ever going to have a local control, it's going to start with organization, then preparation. I'm in the 6th grade, and I don't have time for the district to figure it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Diamond. Iman Brown.
Good evening. My name is Iman Brown, 12th grader. Good evening. My name is Iman Brown, a 12th grader who attends Barrington High School. I want to first start off by saying that I have been a student under Newark Public Schools since kindergarten. I have had my shares of good and bad times with this district. Unfortunately, I may be in danger out of the 200 students who will not be received in a high school diploma because I missed a few points on my state math exam. But I am not discouraged. I am still going to college in the fall. I will forever be a part of this district, helping our students to achieve their goals, and most of all, my name will never be forgotten between this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Valora Howell. Okay. Jacob Paduano. Dr. Leonard Pugliese. Van Ness Roper. Okay.
Oh, God. Don't start that clock. I'm supposed to get 5, you guys, and just want to say good afternoon to the advisory board, the new superintendent. My first statement is Marquise had some, Mr. Lewis, let me say it that way, had some legitimate concerns. Are you trying to tell me for the whole school year, every time he makes a legitimate concern or asks a legitimate question, you guys are going to table his question? Is this what we're come to now, where anything that is essential to parents and someone's asking questions in regards to a lottery that I call slavery? You know, if we're going to promote charter schools, and you seem like you guys are going to do that anyway, and I really got involved in the charter school chicanery. And whatever parents need to get their children through, then you do what you got to do. But if you're going to promote charter schools, then you need to end slavery and end this lottery process. It makes no sense. You're disenfranchising kids. I'm with Mr. Lewis. You got magnet schools that pretty much enroll all the cities and the state employees' kids, and you're still having lotteries. And I thought that's why you was creating charter schools, where we wouldn't have to do this lottery nonsense anymore. And it still concerns me that this is going on. Now, let me just be nice. My daughter spoke in regards to a lot of allegations that are made against the district as it relates to Alexander Street School anyway. And I hope that you guys take it seriously, because she was threatened. And maybe the police should have been called, but guess what? I chose to let them know that my daughter is going nowhere, and neither am I. And the prosecutor's office, and I believe I spoke to Mr. Jeffries about the embezzlement that is going on in the building as it relates to the PTA, from the former PTA. I'm going to say this in regards to History High School, because I have to say what I feel. Now, if you guys want us to play nicey-nicey and don't mention Diploma Plus, and I didn't mention it, by the way, but if you want us to play nicey-nicey and not bring up issues with American History High School, then I think someone needs to start putting it on the table of what you're going to do for History High School, and let the principal go on and grow this building the way it's supposed to, the way the other magnet schools grew their buildings and whatnot. We don't need co-location. We need a plan, and we need it effective immediately. And I don't need, and I support that principle. We parents are going to fight for what we're going to fight for anyway. But the bottom line is that you guys got to be, to our own self, you got to be true. If you want parents to support what you're doing, especially the History High School parents, then you need to let that principal know what's going to take place, or it will be a very bitter battle to the end. I've been involved in that building for 5 years, and for 5 years we had to fight. So it doesn't make a difference to me whether I spend another year fighting for the rights of History High School. We need what we need. We want to improve our school. I think the children deserve the opportunities to have a good principal, to have a good staff that cares. And I don't think you guys understand what what History High School is about. And guess what? If you don't do the right thing, you're going to be on the wrong side of history. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you, just like Martin Luther King said, all I want for my children is what has been written. All this other hypocrisy you got up here, you guys can take it back into your communities. All I want is a fair, appropriate public education, which the Constitution guarantees our children. And whether we're charter school or public school parents, this board still has to function like you're supposed to function. And I can see the division in all of you. If you guys can't get along, how the kids gonna get along? If it's about politicking behind the scenes to get the new superintendent's interest, how is it gonna be what's best interest for the kids? You guys can't get along up here. And you can see the tension. How are you gonna function as a board? How are we gonna get local control? When we have people politicking behind the scenes for co-location, charter school, this don't like this one, that one don't like this one, how long are we gonna have to endure this chicanery at the expense of our children? I consider this an educational holocaust. That's what this is. It's about destroying our children. It's a multicultural destruction. And I think, and listen, and I'm gonna tell you this, I hold each and every one of you accountable for what your decisions that you're making, and I hope you're sure of what you're doing. If you're not sure, then the vote should be no or I abstain. And if the general counsel is still giving y'all stuff 2 days before the advisory board, then you guys should have enough sense to say no or I abstain until you start getting it to me in a timely fashion. The answer is capital N, capital O. Thank you very much, you guys. Ms. Superintendent, I look forward to working with you.
Tricia Scipio-Derrick. Alice Best.
Good evening, Advisory Board, Madam Superintendent. I come this evening before you as a member of a group that was started in the Newark Public Schools several years ago, Workers for Kids, which began as an organization to help the homeless students within the Newark Public Schools. Our organization raised funds by sponsoring bake sales and other activities. Prior to the Christmas holidays, drop boxes were placed at central office. We asked for a collection of toys, clothing, and other educational items. The funds and items collected were used to bring a little joy to the displaced children of our district. Because we have a new superintendent and a new school year, we thought it would be fitting that we rekindle our spirit and start our organization all over again. The time has come for us to all try to work together. We all have the same passion, and that passion is to educate our children. We have to figure out a way that all children are educated equally and are receiving the same things. We have to also learn to collectively and respectively listen to each other as parents, community activists, and employees. We can all make a positive difference in students' lives. These students are our futures, and we have to help mold them. This district is faced with many challenges in educating the students of the Newark School District. Workers for Kids respectfully looks forward to a productive new school year, a renewed focus on educating the students of Newark, restoring the morale of our co-workers, forming positive collaborations with the Newark parents, business partners, and community advocates, creating a complete village. Workers for Kids takes this opportunity to welcome our superintendent, Ms. Cammie Anderson, to wish you well in all of your endeavors, and there are many, and offer our assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Best. Abby Ayub.
Good evening, and thank you for having me this evening. I represent Optical Academy, which is the Northeast Division, is stationed out of Paterson, New Jersey. We're a vision team that comes out to schools and bridges vision and learning. A child cannot learn without seeing. So what we consist of is a vision team of a pediatric ophthalmologist, optician, and an apprentice with the optician. What they do is they do complete eye exams, not vision screenings, Vision screenings detect very little, and 70% of vision screenings are never followed up. So this is I can sit here about 2 hours and tell you the importance of eye exams. I sit here and I see that you do want the best. We are the best. And we are the ones that sat on the Vision Council of America, who is currently passing laws through lobbyists with the Check Yearly, See Clearly program, which allows children to get eye exams by an eye care professional before they enter preschool. The key is getting their eyes examined and providing the corrective eyewear as well. Not only do we do the eye exams in the schools with state-of-the-art digital equipment, verbal, nonverbal students, special ed students, they all can be examined, and it is all mobile equipment, as well as we have a sister company called YourOpticalShop.com, which also accepts all of Newark students' insurances, as well as a spare pair program where they can only get manufacturing costs of their eyewear for only $29. So this provides the families access to affordable eye care and eyewear. Again, I emphasize it's a pediatric ophthalmologist that comes out to the schools and allows these students not only to do an eye exam, but there's a lot of focusing problem, a lot of issues that can help our students see better to learn better. Thank you so much. I got another minute? Okay. I am personally the optician that has multiple patents on many products in this industry to help our children see better. We also, within the school system, we also take a lot of students who don't have any type of medical coverage, and we'll also see them. We dedicate a ophthalmologist to the school, and they are there and help every situation that arises when it comes to vision and learning, accommodative problems, color blindness, a lot of technology that the Board of Ed is purchasing for their classrooms, but it can't accommodate every student. You have colorblind students who can only see through black and white, so most of the computer screens and these boards that they're purchasing, a child cannot see, and they cannot tell you, I cannot see. They don't know any different. We are their voice. I can give you a simple example. We just finished New York City Public Schools, and there's a little girl named Angela who is nonverbal. And Angela, maybe I'll just finish the story. She is a special story. She was wearing someone else's glasses, but she had behavioral problems, so they would drug her up to keep her calm. And the simple fact was, she was wearing glasses that were somebody else's, and she knew she was getting an eye exam, and she waited so still. And we found out she was wearing somebody else's glasses, and we sent her the correct pair the next day. Thank you.
Thank you. Maureen Robinson.
Chair. Okay.
Mr. Kenny?
Just wanted to get some more information about the eye program. Just is curious as to, is she still in the audience? Okay. In terms of affecting academics overall, do you have any information or studies?
Yes.
Okay.
We have statistics.
Can you
We have a packet that we put some stuff in there for you. They're very strong statistics. There's 94% of students are undetected. It's not only a vision problem, it's accommodative problems. I can look at something, it takes me about 2 seconds to actually filter it, and it might take another student 30 seconds. So there is
Excuse
a
me,
lot.
Ms. Ayabo, I don't mean to cut you off, but Mr. Kenny, maybe if you want to speak with her at the end of tonight's meeting and get some more information that I think we would all like to see as well on the board.
Please.
If you wouldn't mind sticking around, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ms. Robinson.
Will you fix the clock, please, to 3 minutes? It's at 2 minutes. I need for you to fix it to 3. Okay, not a problem. Maureen Robinson, Elizabeth, New Jersey, special education teacher, Westside High School, building rep. I'd like to make a few observations. If this public school district provided the books, supplies, security, and removal of disruptive students from the classroom reflective of that in charter and suburban school districts, then teachers can provide a quality and competitive education for our students right here in public schools. Number two, if Barringer 9 can have its own principal, then why can't Westside NAF Academy have its own principal? There are a number of lawsuits on the horizon as a result of the current administration at NAF. A female student is currently on home instruction as a result of an alleged gang rape in school during school hours. African-speaking teachers are being targeted and discriminated against by NAF administrators. A complaint has already been filed. There appears to be a silent, covert, and overt administrative code to keep numbers of violent incidents from being reported in the Newark School District, especially at Westside High School. As I reported during the business meeting, we had a teacher who was violently attacked. If he hadn't intervened for this student, the student would have been stomped to death. He was bitten, his clothes was torn off, and he was further injured by about 70 kids who was trying to get to this particular student. At Westside High School, we need a strong leadership. We need one who's not intimidated. We need one who's secure in himself. We need an administrator who will listen to staff and allow staff to interact and have some input as to what's going on in the school. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Lucius Jones.
Greetings, Advisory Board Member Lucius Jones, 107 Ivy Street, Newark, New Jersey.
Good evening, Mr. Jones.
Good evening, it's Pentone. The focus of the meeting for me tonight is basically in a report card of the systematic pros and cons of Newark Public Schools for this school year. Starting with the local school, as my kids came up here and mentioned, we started this school year on a very upbeat. We thought the principal is an excellent principal, very motivated, very creative, and he gave out instructions to every teacher to give daily report cards, and staff decided that that was too much for them to do. So kids who missed their homework parents would respond the same day and get on our kids to do what they're supposed to do. All of a sudden the report card stopped. And it was just too many kids to do, even though it was effective communication for the parents. It went downhill from there. After that, it became a point of how do you punish kids? You punish kids by taking away their food. And that was a problem for me. You can't take away the kids' food or put them to the back of the line and give them less than 4 to 5 minutes to eat. That was a concern for me. The other concern that I had that really bothered me was the fact that the district folks, gave these notices of non-renewal so early that the teachers that got non-renewal took all the rest of their days, and they also stopped teaching the kids. Why should a teacher care if a kid learns or not when you already done told her she ain't coming back or he ain't coming back? So that had a major impact on the morale, on everything that had to do with learning in the school. Now, my point is, when we talk about success in the classroom, success in the school, it has a lot to do with what's happening at central office. When central office does the type of things that it does, okay, and it all trickles downhill. There's no, my daughter talked about the science kit. She's had 19 diddles this cycle. How much she learned? She loved science. And then she turned back around and took the science test, and she failed it. Even though the principal was courteous enough to give her the test again, she was already demotivated. Now you're talking about a kid who went to Johns Hopkins, passed, and was accepted into Johns Hopkins, national standards. I feel that if Science High and all these magnet schools have higher standards than Newark Public Schools, maybe we need to follow those standards instead of the district standards. Because that is a major, major concern. Some schools in the district are doing it right. Ann Street, Abington, they're getting the kids into science, they're getting them into magnet schools. What are they doing that these other schools are not doing? In addition to the fact that we have to turn back around and we have to choose a math coach, no this coach, no that coach. These are research-based persons that could be in these buildings that work for kids. So my concerns come back to you is that I kind of feel that Ivy Hill Elementary is going to be one of those schools next year, or coming soon, that's going to be recollation or whatever y'all call it. It's going to be one of those schools that's going to be closed, or Lincoln, or Alexandria, when you didn't really give the kids a great opportunity, a shot. Now I'm going to step out a little bit, and I'm going to say the other issue I have, and it hurts me to have to say this, the teachers union. They really, really, really got, that's a problem. Let me explain what my problem is. My problem with the teachers union is that they protect their teachers whether they're right or wrong. And we can't reform this district or transform this district until somebody gets that under control. When principals take the step to do the right thing for kids, they get bombarded with complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint. They're telling them, oh, you can't put a teacher in a year, a 90-day tier or first tier. If the teacher's not teaching, then get them out of here. Why do we have teachers that come here, that travel up and down the parkway and the turnpike, come here and sit on their behind and cash their paycheck? The check didn't bounce. Why should the education bounce? I want to end with this by saying that every year around this time, we spend $1 billion. So this is a celebration. This is a celebration of $1 billion being spent. And for $1 billion, over 12 years, we spent $12 billion, and what do we get for it? Thank you. $1 million budget.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Sophia Estrada.
$1 billion budget.
Harry Perryman. Kim Pierce. Rhonda Wise. Joyce Lamier. Aisha Holmes. Florisha Johnson. Michael Little. Krista Williams. Michael Iovino.
I'm Crystal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How are you? Okay, my name is Crystal, and I just wanted to say thank you for voting for the children of the city of Newark and for allowing parents to have options and opportunities to educate their children the best way they see fit. Unfortunately, Mr. Lewis is not around, but I would just like to say that I am a taxpayer. I grew up here in the city of Newark. I graduated from Newton Street School, and I want my children to have more than what I had. Not saying that what I had was bad. I was the valedictorian, and I think that schools produce really good and bright students, but they also have situations where children are being bullied, harassed, and things like that should be addressed. So everyone that said no to co-locations and to sharing schools, when the children were standing right there saying they need help, somebody should have addressed them. because we're going to fight about buildings, but you're not going to talk about the children's safety or address that, or it doesn't matter, or the young lady who said a girl was raped at school. Those things are just as important, and I think they deserve attention just as well. I have a copy of what my daughter in first grade can do at this school. And for any parent in here who is dissatisfied with the quality of education that their children are receiving, that lottery is a system that does not allow them, that allows them not to dwindle what child they pick and choose. I have a son that is special needs right now. He will graduate tomorrow night at 6 p.m. I never thought my child would be able to read. He is that angry inside. And guess what? He can read, he can do math, he can do division problems. This is a kindergarten child at North Star Academy. So if you are dissatisfied or your child is being bullied, hurt, harassed, not reading, not doing math, guess what? Put their name on the waiting list. Call that school 642-0101 and say I need an application, because guess what? They can get in.
Order.
Okay, Michael
Thank you.
Iovino.
Mr. Iovino, floor is yours. Mr. Iovino,
Yes.
go ahead.
Hi, how are you? Michael Iovino. My address is 2 Cedar Street, apparently. I just wanted to point out some of the... Well, I mean, I'll be there all summer long making sure that some stuff gets done. So if you want to come visit me on 2 Cedar Street, I'll be in the deck chair in front of the building. I will be. I just wanted to point out that this has really been a very exciting year. But from the beginning of the year on, I've echoed the same sentiments over and over again. We have success in Newark Public Schools. Ms. Anderson, welcome, and I'm sure you've already been apprised of much of the success, and obviously we do have some problems. Acknowledging the success is one thing, yet I have yet to see anything done to maximize or spread the success. Nothing. We've spent so much time debating locations and co-locations and budgets, but we've done nothing to look at what's successful and see what we can do to expand it. We have programs that are incredibly successful, teachers that are incredibly hardworking. The vast majority of the curriculum written in this district has been done by teachers in this district. They've been done by the teachers at university and technology and science, East Side. Fantastic teachers, fantastic programs. We should have set some time aside to investigate and figure out how we can maximize this success. We've spent much of this year talking about budgets and talking about we've been victimized by Christie's draconian budget cuts. Instead, what I would have had expected a board whose sole purpose is to advocate and maximize public education was to put forth the budget and harness all the energy in this room and lead us to try and to fight for the education that our kids deserve. That's what we expect of you guys. So instead of waiting for Christie's budget and then trying to create a budget that matches what he tells us our kids deserve, we should have proven to him what our kids deserve. And you would have had this auditorium and this entire district marching with you down to Trenton to fight for that. And I would have been there with my deck chair, pausing periodically to rest. Because I'm getting old. I've been fighting since the state hired me and proving that, you know, that was the one good thing that the state may have done in their control in the last 15 years, although I'm sure there are greater successes. Going forward, I wanted to point out once again that while the board is taking a break, when September kicks in, we want to know as teachers what you intend to do as far as the class size waiver, which expires June 28th. We want to come in September knowing that this board and this superintendent is committed to the one key fact that we know always has success: small class size. We know that works. And I will be out on 2 Cedarwood Street with my deck chair, just with the sign up, counting the days, knowing that we're going to fix that. Thank you very much. I love you all.
Thank you. Donald Jackson.
Good evening, Norfolk Public Schools Advisory Board. Hello, new superintendent. My name is Donald Jackson. My address is 79 Tracy Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, 07108. My telephone number is 973-824-0365. We need to meet ASAP. I just want to say to the Norfolk Public Schools Advisory Board that you are the Norfolk Public Schools Advisory Board. Not Team Academy Advisory Board, not North Star Academy Board, okay, but Norfolk Public Schools Advisory Board. Now, Shavar, you put out that information about North Star to say what? Because I have no problem with people putting out information because we need to put out facts. But you put out a fact to say what? It was empty. You didn't say anything behind that. So you said what you said about North Star to say what? Now, we need to deal with the issues at hand. See, everybody want to get into this whole charter school, public school battle. That's not even the issue right now because, as a matter of fact, no kids are going to the school, okay? Kids are on the streets. Let me say that again. Kids are on the street from 8 years old to 18 years old, okay? On my way to work, I see kids hanging out on the corners, hanging out outside the corner stores, running up and down the street. And I'm not just talking about now. This has been going on since January, and I've been telling you all since September. Kids are not going to the school, period. You got a 27 on-roll roster students on the roster at Shabazz U.S. History 2 class. Only 4 students show up to take the final exam. Who are we educating in Norfolk Public Schools? We need to deal with the issue that the kids are not coming to school. My other issue, is that our Norfolk Public Schools Advisory Board comes to fight, how do I want to put this, battles that they were chose to choose. If we're going to be equal, we need to fight equal battles. We need to deal with Norfolk Public Schools. Let's stop worrying about this charter school, that charter school. Are all charter schools bad? No, definitely not. But if we're a Norfolk Public Schools Advisory Board, we need to deal with Norfolk Public Schools. And lastly, I want to end with this situation at Barringer that's criminal. What's going on at Barringer High School is criminal. You have not even half of the graduating class not going to graduate because somebody who's getting paid a handsome amount of money to do a job that they did not do and came to this board and told you all that are looking at me, lied to you all and said the situation at Barringer had improved. Well, if the situation at Barringer had improved, why is over 200 students not going to graduate from Barringer?
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Veronica
Mr.
Williamson. Donna Jackson. Oh.
She here.
Oh, okay. Veronica Williamson.
Good evening, board members. My name is Veronica Williamson. I live in Newark, New Jersey. I'm kind of glad that North Star is rising to perfection. But a few months ago, when Shavar, you were sitting there, you didn't have too many bad things to say about Newark Public School. But now that you're sitting over here, we're 43%, we're 49%. You know, it's just terrible how all bad things don't come out of Newark. Newark charter school is only open to a selective few. I'm very particular in where I put my children. My 6-year-old will not benefit from North Star. That's how I feel. He attends school in Bloomfield and is doing very, very well. Barringer High School. A few months ago, Mr. Lewis stated at several meetings ago that this committee will be monitoring the student schedules and credits at Barringer High School. I want to know what happened with that. We got 200 kids this month that will not be graduating along with the other children for not having credits. Their schedules were mixed up. And I don't only blame the administration, I blame the parents because we didn't come out. Not me, but parents didn't come out. Parents didn't fight against the certificate of attendance because I was not in agreement of that. You know, and it's just sad because now kids are scrambling and it's too late. I want to applaud the school because the principal, along with staff at Barringer High School, they've been doing everything possible, sending additional work. They just took another test. Actually, the last part is tomorrow, but they just took another test to try to make up for what was lost on last year. And you guys have let us down because, Mr. Lewis, you said that you guys were going to monitor to make sure that those kids had their credits, their whatever it was that they needed so that they can graduate or move on to the next step, and you didn't do that. What is the new plan for the kids for 2012, because I want to be a part of that plan. My son wants to be a part of that plan. And like he said earlier, he will not receive a diploma, but a certificate of attainment. And we're not upset because we're leaving the district with a whole lot more. He's leaving with knowledge. He's done a lot in his community. He's done a lot in his school. He's been very active, and I'm proud of him. So what is the plan? We need to know what is the plan for the children of 2012. We need to know if those kids that don't have credits, to prepare them now so that in June of 2012, we won't have to do this all over again. Because for some parents, it is upsetting. But he will march on Tuesday with his class. You know, I'm just so angry with you because you said it was a promise actually that you were going to look and make sure that the kids will have everything.
Madam Chair, I have to answer to this. I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I want to first.
Mr. Lewis, hold on just 1 second. Ms. Williamson, I apologize. If we can just wait until the end so that we can get the next speaker, Ms. Williamson, Mr. Lewis will comment to you, okay?
I want to answer it now. I want to answer it now. I need to answer it now.
Mr. Lewis, I don't want to take away from anybody else's board participation.
This is a very, this
Make it quick,
serious.
Mr. Lewis.
I want to answer this now. In October, when this Barringer situation occurred, and key staff members who was appointed to go and handle the Barringer situation, they promised me that they will evaluate the situation and they will follow through. The then board president, Mr. Jeffries, appointed board member Ivan Lamort to also be the point person over that project. So after Mr. Jeffries appointed Mr. Lamort to overlook that project, I stepped away and I allowed him to handle his task. I don't know what happened since. I've been asking what happened, and I haven't received no report, just like you haven't received no report. So I wanted to say that anything I told you that I was going to do, I've done. And I continue to ask questions about what's going on with that progress. I have got limited information about what's going on with that process. 2 weeks ago, I also asked what's going on with that progress. It was for the first time in this whole year, I heard that 200 kids was in jeopardy of not graduating. It was a week ago. So that just shows you the lack of information that we receive as a board. And now it's more loopholes to give us information. So I just wanted you to know that what I said to you, I did. Mr. Jeffries, as the chair at that time, gave that task to Mr. Lamort, and I haven't heard nothing ever since.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Should I go next?
Ms. Williamson? Ms. Williamson? Ms. Williamson, next speaker, please.
Donna Jackson. No? Karma Warren.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Karma Brown Warren. I grew up in Newark in the South Ward, right off Chancellor Avenue on Fabian Place. I am pleased to appear before you tonight as a concerned Newark native, a Newark Public Schools graduate, a Newark employee, a wife, a parent of 2 children. I'm here in the spirit of cooperation and achievement for children of the Newark Public School System. Whether you came here in support of public charter schools or for traditional public schools, I'm happy we all came out. I encourage each parent to think about educational choice in terms of what is in the best interest of your child and all the children in the district. Like the fingers of the hand, we have different functions, but we all must work together. As a product of Newark's educational system, including being a graduate of this very school, Science High School, in the 80s, we weren't here in this nice building, I experienced the excellence that exists in Newark Public Schools. I am proud to be a part of alumni network that includes leaders in every field of human endeavor who have been educated at America's top colleges and universities. Science High prepared me for success in the rigorous electrical engineering, which I studied at Tuskegee University, and then on to medical school, where I'm now one of the only 3 African-American emergency medicine physicians at University Hospital, our own university, in the trauma center. We alumni are an example of Newark's next generation who have come home and who are interested in paving the way for the next generation. I believe that we can do this by providing strong educational alternatives within the public school system, such as what was done with me at Science and others like University, and also our famed Arts High School and our technical schools. All of those schools have succeeded without detriment to the traditional public schools that serve most of Newark. As a result, I became involved with the Great Oaks Charter School as one of the founding members and the vice chair of the board, because I saw a unique opportunity to deliver choice to parents seeking to provide innovative ways to educate our children. I believe that while some are racing to criticize and compare traditional public and public charter schools within the city of Newark, we should be directing our efforts on the race to improve and compete with other districts. I do not believe that charter automatically means better, nor do I believe that public automatically translates to inferior. Success comes when we do what is best for our kids, and that comes in all different shapes. During the charter school application and co-location process, I have discovered that Newark Public Schools, whether charter or traditional, are filled with pockets of excellence. At Great Oaks, our mission is to make sure that students not only attend college, but graduate college. That should be the same mission as all Newark schools. So we are partners and not opponents. Our school is based on the
Excuse me, Dr. Warren. Dr. Warren. Excuse me, Dr. Warren. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next speaker.
Stephen Outing.
Good evening, everyone. I'm representing American History High, and I want to ask Mr. Jeffries, do organizations get 5 minutes or 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
So you changed the policy?
We did.
Mr. Jeffries.
The policy was changed last year, Mr. Outing.
I just want to say to everybody in the audience tonight that God is still in the blessing business and we will be victorious. Cammie Anderson, I just want to say this to you. The way they brought you here was, I had great reservations because it's just like you had your favorite meal. You have I love lobster, I love vegetables, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I like to eat. And it's like I got my favorite dinner at the table and they just put it on a garbage lid and said, here. Community, people who are the citizen of Newark, here you go, take her. I just think that
there need to be a more open dialogue between yourself and the community. We need to hear directly from you what your vision and plan is for the children in the city of Newark. Everybody is talking about co-location, consolidation, and information, and relocation. Nobody's talking about the 3 R's. What happened to reading, writing, and arithmetic? What happened to that? In the last 2 years, I heard no one talk about reading, writing, and arithmetic. I spoke to a principal at Belmont Runyon School. That was 2 minutes. That was the fastest 2 minutes I ever saw. And she said that the children didn't receive phonics at that school. How can you teach our children to read, Miss Anderson, and they're not learning phonics? This is what is happening predominantly in the African American community in the Central, South, and West Ward. I have grave concerns. And finally, I just want to say to you, Mr. Jeffries, fear and God can't occupy the same space at the same time, my brother. God's justice, you hear me say this a lot, never sleep, even when you sleep. And I'm saying this to all of you advisory board members. I'm happy that you changed the seating arrangement, but it's time to go to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Tarek Tucker. Mr. Tucker? Tariq, I'm sorry. Lamont Fawn. Tara Davis. Frida Barrow. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Frida Barrow. My address is 20 Irving Ave, Newark. I currently teach grade 5 at George Washington Carver Bruce Street School for the Deaf. This building is now to become a tri-location. That's 3 schools in 1. Carver, Bruce Street, and as of the 2011-2012 school year, Team Spark Academy. I stand before this board on behalf of Dr. Jackson, our principal, the students, and the community served by this school. I am one of the few active community members surrounding Carver Bruce Street schools. I am one of the few because many are tired. They are tired of a 15-year state takeover that up until now continues to fail. Tired of state district policies that continue to fail. And tired of being called and classified by the State of New Jersey Department of Education as failures. In the past, I opposed state takeover. The state of New Jersey has been an absentee landlord, leaving many Newark public schools vulnerable to vultures selling whole school reform models. Here one day and the money gone the next. It is my belief that removing Dr. Jackson would not serve the school or community well because it will create an unstable situation in the lives of many students. Dr. Jackson is an asset to our community. As a principal, school leader, and a positive role model in the community, he should have input in the decisions affecting Carver Bruce Street schools. Since the news of the upcoming co-location, many facilities issues are being addressed. Team has sparked a new interest in our building. There are engineers, in the building, checking heating, air ventilation, windows, bathrooms, etc. All these things are good, but they should have been taken care of long ago and on a regular basis to ensure the health and safety of those lives in the building daily. We at Carver Bruce Street School are not opposed to improvement or change. We just insist that any changes be well thought out and beneficial to all students, parents, and all other stakeholders. Therefore, I'm appealing to this advisory board and to Superintendent Cammie Anderson to carefully consider these proposed changes and how they will affect the community as a whole, how they are implemented with the input and approval of all those concerned. At present, it appears that there are going to be some much-needed upgrades to the space allotted for Team Spark Academy. So in closing, I have one question. Will any of the money received by the district for leasing areas of Carver's building to Team Spark Academy be allocated to the benefit of all students within this location or simply Team Spark students? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bauer.
Jamila Muhammad.
Let's be for real. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. First and foremost, I would like to say this to Ms. Anderson. Good to meet you, but when I address a question to you, I would like to hear from you and not Ms. Wilson. Because it seems to be that every question that any board member is usually asked up there, Ms. Wilson is interceding. I want to know why is that? Is she the superintendent? Is she the board president? It seems to know she know more than Ms. Pintor and everybody else. Sorry, Ms. Wilson, but they trained you very well. Another thing is, sorry, Ms. Wilson, let's not start. Let me give me my minutes. Another thing is, I would like to say thank you for leaving, as I think you left American history alone. But I also want y'all to keep in mind, again, about Camden Middle. I had said to you no more than the last board meeting to be open about what you're about to put in that area. I really can't understand where you come up with these co-locations when you're not walking in Newark. Where are you walking? Where are you? Because you're going to put grown people in a problem that's going to end up, is going to be more gangbangers. They're going to be drinking. They're going to be in a movie theater. And then I want to know, do you really think, because maybe this kid mother can't stand up for him because she's a drug addict, or, what about the foster child that don't have nobody to stand up for them, but he might have a sister, an uncle, an aunt that cares, okay? So what I'm saying to you, I would like to know for all these people that's sitting up on that board that don't even have children, okay? Okay, Shavar, you excuse this time. Yes, we should have ate lunch together before I rip you out, but I'm not gonna come for you today. I got you another time, okay? So maybe we'll sit down, we'll break bread this time, and then we'll be friends again. You'll tend to know that's about me. I'm just sorry, I'm just like that. However, I just want you to take in consideration once again, Camden Middle do not need to have no adults around there, okay? They need little kids around there, because not only that you're gonna make it a habit for those people that's going to Camden Middle, you're gonna make a habit for the community that's around there, those old people that live in those houses. Not only the old people already gotta deal with the drug dealers and everything, but see, what you fail to realize, those drug dealers already know those old people, so they're not gonna mess with them. Now you're gonna create a whole big problem. Okay? So I want to know, when these things start arriving, Ms. Anderson, Ms. Wilson, and everybody on that board, when something happened in them schools to at least one of them kids, where are y'all going to be? Every last one of y'all better be the first ones at that school. Every last one of y'all better be there to stand up for that child. Okay? I don't want to hear that you was home, you didn't know nothing about it, because when y'all leave this board meeting right here, y'all go home and y'all go sleep. Y'all don't care about no one else. So when you make these decisions, Miss Pintor, that don't have no children, then you're probably not even my age and I'm young. Okay? All you do is bang that gavel. Before you start coming to meetings too, I want you to start pulling back last meetings from last year and find out what's going on and catch up with the rest of some of y'all, because I'm tired of Miss Wilson intercepting a lot of different things. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Mohammed.
No, now it's Miss McNear, and you would know that.
Tasha Lynch. Tisha Lynch. Okay. Marisol Bonilla. Margaret L.
Good evening, members of the advisory board, and welcome to our new superintendent, Ms. Anderson. My name is Margaret Eel, and I'm vice principal at William Brown Academy at Arts High School. I'm here to basically advocate for strengthening arts education across the Newark Public Schools. We have a wonderful gem of a program that was piloted this year at Arts High School called the William Brown Academy of the Arts, where sixth grade students actually had the opportunity to be exposed to 3 of the 4 arts programs this entire year. We've seen the benefits of that program, and those students will continue with us in the 7th grade. But one of the reasons the program has been so successful is because of the extended learning day that was instituted at the school this year. We really feel very strongly, and we don't know, what's going to happen moving forward, but we really are interested in continuing that opportunity for those students with the extended learning day. So we hope that, you would look at this program and look at some of the things that have occurred as a result of this program and understand that these things could not have happened had we not had the extended learning day at this site. In addition to that, as we look at some of the auditions that took place for Arts High School this year, we have some of the numbers in terms of where students are coming from across the district and which regions we actually get most of the students coming to apply and audition for Arts High School. And we've noticed a pattern over the years in terms of which regions these students primarily come from. One of my concerns is that some of the arts education programming at the elementary level is not equitable across the district, and I'm very much interested in you looking at that as we move forward, because the city of Newark actually has in the past been very, very strong compared to other districts in this state in terms of its arts education, but we've been losing some ground. So I appeal to you to, at least bring this discussion to the table. Primarily, most of our students are coming from the North and the East region. As a former teacher in the South region and as a resident of the West region, I know that we do have pockets of really, really talented students in those areas, and for some reason, we're not getting them in our building at the same rate that we're getting students from the other regions. So also, as you look at William Brown Academy, I'd like for you to also consider how this program can possibly extend it so that we have a program similar to this in every single region in the city, so that those students who are really interested in pursuing this, not only as a path, because we know now that we really can't separate this discipline from other disciplines, the arts and the sciences go together. And
Thank you.
Okay. Cuthbert Ashby.
Good evening, members of the board, new superintendent, Ms. Anderson. My name is Cuthbert Ashby. I live at 22 Seabury Street, Newark, New Jersey. I just want to say that I know you're new. You only been here 2 weeks now, I think, on the job, and we had candid conversations, which I appreciate very much. And I appreciate your values, which you had mentioned the last time we spoke. I think they were candor, code, courage, confidentiality, and courage, which is good, which is well. I just want to talk to you about a little bit about expectations on my part, because this is a new administration under your regime, under your command, I should say. First and foremost, I noticed there's a reoccurring theme in all the speakers that have been speaking before me. And the first one is expectations, the first one of my expectations is the insurance of child safety in the school system. That's a big thing, and I'm quite sure those little kids touched your heart. But this has been ongoing for a while, so I expect attention to that item. Number two is transparency. Transparency in regards to what we've been experiencing, a covert action as far as the strategic plan is concerned. I'm quite sure this is another reoccurring theme that I've been hearing this evening, is that the citizens of Newark feel like we're second-class citizens, and we're kind of tired of it. So we're dependent on you to eliminate that factor. Secondly, the inclusion as far as decision-making process of stakeholders, parents, and other teachers and administrators. The building on best practices, which was another reoccurring theme that I heard this evening, of schools that already exist, public schools that already exist in the Newark system, as opposed to bringing in new schools with no track record or limited track records. And then quality improvement of the curriculum as it exists right now, or build on it, so our children could go to college without taking remedial courses and be ready, college readiness, and providing appropriate services for the special needs population, if not appropriate, but accessibility to the special needs population of the public school system. Those are the expectations that I am looking for under your supervision, under your leadership, Ms. Anderson. So I thank you.
Thank you. Kathleen Witcher.
Kathleen Witcher, 14 Galway Place, Irvington. I represent the Southside Malcolm X Shabazz High School Alumni Association. For the record, we await a meeting with you, Superintendent Anderson, regarding dire conditions at the school. We want to follow up to our May 27th meeting with Commissioner Cerf, and we are happy to say that we have a partnership with the Newark Teachers Union. There are about 6 other concerns that I have, and one of them I think I need to preface, because there were parents like mine and many others who came along to develop the positions called classroom aides, food service workers, and security guards. They came from Newark, they worked for Newark. Now tonight I am reading a letter that states that the local 3 is under siege and that more than 90 workers have received their termination notices. We need to preserve the jobs for Newarkers in Newark. Next, I want to respond to a statement that was made in the presentation. There are family full-service medical and health clinics that were established at Central High School and Shabazz High School. I hope that they will continue. Next, I would like to say to Mr. Jeffries and all concerned, we know that there is no regulation of charter schools. Therefore, we need to validate those score reports that we are given. The Education Law Center may be consulted on that kind of thing. My concern from the business meeting is, when will they be monitored? Who will monitor them? And what process will be given to charter schools? Next, I would like to comment on the relocation of Camden Street Middle to Camden Street School. My children went to Camden Street School. It was K-4. The K-8 determination I would like to ponder, because certainly in the schools of our country, we do not have K-8 anymore. They're middle schools. Next, I would like to ask, what is the fair market rate for leasing for the sole locations and the co-locations? What is the real fair market rate? And last, I see on your agenda that you're having per diem teachers. Long ago in the schools of Newark, we got rid of the designation of per diem teachers. I'd like to know why and how that is going to operate. Thank you.
Thank you. Cynthia Wade. Cynthia Wade. Joanne Miller.
Good evening, Joanne Miller. Ms. Anderson, nice meeting you. My name is Joanne Miller. I'm born and raised and a former student in Newark. Now, as a grandmother, I am deeply fearful for our children here in Newark. Upon hearing there will be no summer youth program at Clinton Avenue, Belmont Runyon, and Avon Avenue elementary schools. All three are located in the South Ward of Newark. This situation is not good for our young children, and they deserve to have a summer program. If for no other reason, just for safety, for them to be out of harm's way. Just yesterday, I think you all have seen the newspaper, that one of our young students was killed by gunfire right here on South Orange Avenue. Violence has escalated, and it's not getting any better here in the city of Newark with that going on. Please help stop violence, and please help save our children's lives. Our children are dying younger and younger and younger each year due to gun violence. You can help save some of our children's lives this summer by allowing a summer recreation program for these three schools. I understand that there will be some type of program at Avon, but it won't be under Newark Public Schools. It's a special program. Ms. Wilson, maybe you can tell me what it is, what the name of that special program is, but there's a special program only at Avon, special summer program. But at Clinton Avenue and Belmont Runyon will have at least 100 children attending that summer program if it's open. They can do their work there, but allowing the gym, the caf, and the bathrooms to be open for the summer program for these children. They do not need to travel all the way over to Peshon, who is offering a program. We have got to do something to help save our children's lives. I advocate for children. I will always advocate for children. They are our most precious, precious beings existing in this district. So please allow these programs to continue this summer. It's only 6 weeks. Our children need that safety net, because without it, we will find more of our children losing their lives, and that cannot be. We cannot allow that. The other problem is, I understand any of you board members who have family members on these charter schools boards or principals, you need to check yourselves. There need to have been an affidavit signed that I am not connected to anyone hired in these charter schools. And we know money is the root of all evil. We know that people are selling public schools out. That's what's happening here. And some of you board members are right in there with that. Thank you.
Nicole Singletary.
Oh, I have a letter. I have a copy of my letter to everyone.
Evening. Is this mic on? Good evening, advisory board members. Good evening again, Ms. Anderson, second time meeting. And I'd like to just take the opportunity to first say congratulations to all those advisory board members, Mr. Kinney, Ms. Baskerville, and of course, Ms. Pintor, on your election. I am going to start off my focal points of what Superintendent Anderson said: leadership, teacher quality, operational excellence, community and family engagement. Moving forward in 2011-2012 school year, all of you, this is what I like to see happen. First things first, we need to reach out to the Rutgers Law Education Center. It seems as though they're the only entity in the city of Newark that knows what to do and how to get it right. If it was not for, and specifically, Mr. Paul Treckenberg, we would not be getting that $500 returned back once the state of New Jersey decides what they're going to do on the 30th for a balanced budget. So we need to start working on return to local control. Once we do that, we can reform the district. Let's take the mirror, turn it at ourselves. Our governor has just stood up at the 2011 Seton Hall commencement and challenged that class to be disturbers. I've already been a disturber and I'm going to continue to be a disturber of the status quo. What I would like to see is that we turn that mirror at ourselves and let's start reforming not only against education, but reform the district as well from the top, starting at the top. Lastly, not least, Superintendent Anderson, what I'd like to see you do is security is a big issue in all of our 86 schools, whether you're public or charter. I don't get in that debate. Reach out to the acting police director, DeMeo, specifically the 4th Precinct, Captain Clark, and the community resource officer, Vanessa Strange, and the school resource officer, Terrell Day. They have done strides in making sure that our children are in collaboration with none other than the director of Newark Public School Security, Mr. Freeman. I commend you as well for the day-to-day operation of what our security guards have to go through here in our district. So sometimes we forget to say thank you for the smallest things, so thank you. Closing, I would like to just say thank you for the 2010-2011 partnerships. At Newton Street School in particular. Thank you to the Against All Odds program, SES program, Boys and Girls Club of Newark, New Jersey Food Bank, Unitarian Church of Christ, Montclair, Seton Hall University, UMD&J Behavioral Science Center, Dental Van, Breast Cancer Awareness Project Grad, Newark, in particular Mary Bennett, Rutgers University, the Science Park Peer Leadership Program, Saving Ourselves, New Community Corp, Social Service to Be in particular, New Communities Family Success Center, Babyland, the Delta Sigma Rho Society, the AKA sorority, Stop Shooting, Street Warriors, Councilman Sharif's office, Councilman Quintana's, Councilman Gonzalez, Payne, and for the various donations and resources that you have given to our children at New Street School and the surrounding community. And also thank you to Freeholder Rufus Johnson. And like I said, I'm only with you for 7 days. 7 days, I am with you. I received my letter of layoff. So let's get it right. I'm not going to continue to stop what I'm doing. But at the same time, all summer long, I am going to appeal and look to the Open Public Forum Act because I need to get a list of all consultants.
Thank you, Ms. Singletary.
Gail Mohammed. That concludes public session.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Lewis.
Ms. Jackson walked in and she was on the speakers list. Ms. Jackson walked in and she was on the speakers list. I'm asking that we grant her minutes.
That's up to the board. I would remind you that we have a rule in our own board procedures that we ask that people be here when their name is called. So if you want to make an exception.
Well, since I personally saw Ms. Jackson before her name was called in the building, I think that she should get the chance to speak.
Ms. Jackson, do you want to speak or do you want to? Ms. Jackson, do you want to speak? Okay, you can come right there.
This ain't no priority. Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you very much. Just a little late. Ms. Anderson, my name is Donna Jackson. I'm the New Jersey Hellraiser. Not too sure yet as to how I feel about things that are going on, but with the action that this board took before I got here, I'm very disappointed. We approved co-locations while they're having a press conference in Newark today about how bad the co-locations are going. We already know that sites where we have co-locations, there's already fighting, who's in charge of the building, and those kind of things. We already have the charter schools calling us because they have children who are not going to school and they want us to provide them with attendance counselors. On that issue there, I tell them spend your own money. You got billionaires funding your stuff. We have allowed you to come in and rape the public school system. Charter schools are not public schools. Just let me be clear, Ms. Anderson, from the community perspective, non-reflective of my board members, who most of them support charter schools and are charter school people. The majority of us in Newark who understand the collusion, the takeover, and the corporate nonsense, and the Tuskegee experiment of black and brown children in this country understand what the charter school movement is. So immediately, Ms. Anderson, I'd like to ask you to do the following. I've already sent a letter to the federal government to ask why North Star, who is supposed to be a charter school for low-income students, has been allowed to bring into Newark children that do not live in Newark and force Newark to pay for them. Right now, North Star Academy has a bus that goes into Irvington, East Orange, Montclair, West Orange, and next year, don't be sucking your teeth. Y'all know this happened, especially those that work for the system. You didn't say nothing, so this is my 19 minutes. And we have allowed them to come in here, and our board members don't have a problem with us paying money. Some of them, not all, don't have a problem with us paying our Newark Public School money for children that do not live here. I, Donna Jackson, taxpayer extraordinaire, have a very serious problem paying for any child that is not a resident of the city of Newark to attend Newark Public Schools. While we are laying off people, and my numbers right now range from anywhere from 600 to possibly over 1,000 students in the North Star system, as they are also opening up 4 new schools in September with the consent of this board because they don't know any better. I now need a complete residency check. I also not only need a residency check, Ms. Anderson, but I need to check and make sure that these families are low income, because according to my statistics and the investigation that I've done, the average parent at North Star Academy right now makes over $45,000 a year and is receiving free lunch that we're paying for. I, for the record, need, Ms. Anderson, at the next meeting, I need you to let these charter school parents know in closing, because they do not understand this, that when they kick a kid out of a charter school after October the 15th, and the child comes back to Newark Public Schools, they don't come back with the money. The parents in the charter school don't understand that, and I am clearly, when you're in the Booker administration for school reform, understand what you feel, but I'm trying to tell you, you need to give us a chance. You need to fully support the Global Village Zone, because if you don't, we definitely will fight you. And I don't think this relationship needs to start out on a fight, but you need to visit these schools in Newark. You need to let whatever Booker told you, you need to leave that at the side. You need to come, let me say this in closing, you need to meet with some real community people and some real parents, because to date you have not. The transition team does not represent the parents or community of Newark, and you need to start coming and talking to some real folks so we can get some real facts. And I'll tell you, the 45 principals that need to be fired, we can turn the whole district around 48 hours when that happens.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. That concludes our public participation. Any new or old, Ms. Jackson, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Madam Chair.
Any old or new business, Mr. Lewis?
First I wanted to revisit. I wanted us to revisit the class size waiver, because the board approved a class size waiver to the 31st of this year. I want to know what's the plans going forward with the class size waiver. I'm also it's also troubling to hear that we are doing layoffs in this district and people are still being hired in this district. And I know that Ms. Anderson is new. I know that she has some new staff being hired, but at the same time, we have people who sweat blood and tears in this district, who've been in this district for 17 years, who after they get a layoff letter from position they in, don't have no position to go back to, so they're laid off after dedicating 17 years of their lives to this district. That is troubling that we don't consider these individuals. It's troubling that we're forcing people to give up their jobs while we're giving our jobs to folks in New York and other parts of New Jersey. I'm also wanted a response from Ms. Anderson on the 15 emergency waivers that she applied for down at the state for principals to be in this district. I was told that 15 emergency waivers was applied for. I wanted to know what these waivers was for, why these people should be granted these waivers, and their track record, if they have a track record of doing excellence in education. Also, I want to say that I support the NAACP lawsuit against co-locations and consolidation. I don't understand how this board can sit here and really support co-locations and consolidations when our president himself is backing away from supporting co-locations and consolidations, along with the Secretary of Education, who also said that the NAACP has some value.